Welcome to the Serpentine Creative Channel. I'm your host, Stella Williams, and today on Serpentine Reviews, I'll be discussing Dragon Prince by Stella Dawn. If you watched my March Madness TBR, you know that I chose this book mostly because I thought the cover was super hot. I like dragons, I like aliens, sci-fi, space things, and it was by a black author. So I immediately picked it up and I was like, yes, I'm gonna read this book. And then after buying it, I actually looked at the description and I was like, what did I just do? Um, but I was like, you know what? I'll give the book a shot. And I gave the book a shot. Right? So basically, this book follows the main characters, Kara, who is a human slave, and Kaldor, who is a dragon prince. And not to give too much away, this is all stuff that's in the description for the most part. Um, Kara was on a ship that crashed on this unknown planet and she's been stuck there for a while. And then the Dragon Prince's ship also crashes there, and that's how they meet. And you just kind of follow them through figuring out how to get off the planet. And uh, it was just really hard for me to get through. I almost DNF'd this book 3 times, and my husband was just like, just go ahead and DNF it. Because, like, I was reading it and I was getting into the story, but there was just always something about it that, like, bugged me in the back of my mind. And my husband and I, when things like that happen, I usually try to hash it out and discuss it. So, in talking to my husband about it, like, then I would pick out what was really bugging me. And in this case, it was the fact that Kara, who is this human who was taken as a slave as a child from Earth, um, she had this way of speaking that was very childish and childlike. And I wasn't sure if that was intentional on the author's part, um, but it kind of threw me out of like the romance of it because she had that like childlike way of speaking. It like made it almost like I was reading like a teen or a new adult romance, and it gave me like an icky sort of like child like feeling. Like I didn't want to necessarily, I couldn't connect to her in the romantic scenes because I was just like, she's not like mentally prepared for that. I don't know. It was just weird. I couldn't get past it. There were certain sentences in the book that were super confusing. Um, there, the book is written in first person from Kara's point of view, from Kaldor's point of view, and like I think one or the two other characters get their point of view in the book as well. And those, for the most part, are clearly marked because she does each chapter from each person's point of view. So at least that's not an issue. It's not really an issue of head hopping. It's more just an issue of how she chose to write their style of language that was off-putting because it didn't read like, oh, this is just them speaking differently because they're not, you know, from Earth or whatever. It was more just like the main character, Kara, was speaking differently because she was taken as a child and was raised by another species. So her level of English didn't, I guess, mature enough. And then the alien race obviously has their own like lingo, and it was just really sort of like confusing. Like they would bounce back and forth between like human and human, like the English way is human, Human, and she would write like human, Humon. And I'm like, that's such a slight difference in pronunciation that honestly, I don't think it would really have been a big deal if she had just said human or just said human the entire time. But that's just me being super nitpicky, to be completely honest. Uh, but other than that, as far as the um, love story between Kara and Kaldor, I like it just didn't sit right with me. It felt very like it felt kind of forced and almost stock homey because it was like she was trapped on this planet and he's her only real escape from the planet, and he's also like the only like single eligible good looking man she's met like in her womanly years. She's a virgin, she's obviously um impressionable, and in that way I didn't connect with them as a couple. Like it just felt wrong to me. And that brings me to my first objective score, the heat level. It was really hard for me to decide where this would fit because while the scenes were like steamy and kind of hot, like I said, I wasn't really connecting with the characters, so it didn't like it made me feel like icky to be into the sex scenes. So I'm going to rate this just below slow burn. Like it would have been a slightly above slow burn, but because of the ick factor, I have to push it lower. And then for readability, um, this was just a really hard read for me. I'm sorry. Like I said, I almost DNF'd it, but I pushed through, and you definitely have to be like really patient with the way the characters speak and think in this novel. So I would definitely put this in between DNF and patient. Like I just can't do it. As far as the readability, it was so hard. And then for my overall score, basically, I'm, yeah, just not throw the whole book away because it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible book. Um, there were just things that I couldn't get away from in my head that made it, I can't really say it's worth the read, but I can't say that someone else might not enjoy it more and can overlook the things that I couldn't overlook. So I'm gonna put that below worth reading. Um, yeah, and that's my review. I hope it wasn't too terrible. I really don't like giving bad reviews. Like I said, this platform is to promote diversity and to, provide a platform for authors to get their work out there. And I was disappointed with this book. That's really all I can say. With that being said, I might try another book by this author. Maybe it was just the subject matter of this one that I couldn't get into. Uh, and if I do read another book by this author, I'll definitely be making a video letting you guys know and probably doing a review on it, especially if it's a better read for me than this one was. And thanks for watching. That is my review. And next week, I haven't decided what I'm reading yet. So check on my IGTV, or maybe I'll come on one of my other videos and let you guys know what I'll be reading for next week. Again, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Toodaloo.